the NBA should shorten its season to 64 games, but make the games 60 minutes. And when you do that, compared to a 2-game season, you're essentially playing 2 less games, so you don't have to worry about losing money from advertisers or what have you. And you can always increase the ticket price a little bit since you'll be there at the event, at the game for a longer time. So reducing the 64 games at 60 minutes, I think that'll be a win-win for everybody. It'll still be a win for fans because it makes the games more urgent. Less games, the games will matter more. And 64 games is a good number where you can figure out, hey, this is what the season's going to be. These are going to be the play-in teams, etc., and feel confident in it. And still have a little bit, possibly, a little element of surprise. Now, you say, hey, the players are going to play longer in those particular games. Well, guess what? Have enough depth on your team to compensate for that, or have your starters or stars or top heavy kind of players, instrumental players, your stars, play longer minutes. Because with 64 games, say over about a 6-month period, you can eliminate back-to-backs. Just play 3 games per week. And I suggest playing on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the first half of the season. Second half of the season, do a Tuesday, Thursday, and pick a weekend day. Maybe Saturday. It could be Sunday, either one, and go from there. And the NBA would probably pick Sunday. And that's what you do. So for the first 32 games, and then you can go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have your All-Star break, and then go Tuesday, Thursday, and a weekend game. So you have games on different days, and that could, fit in for people's work or school schedule, saying, okay, maybe I can't make a game the first half of the season on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but in the second half I can make the Tuesday, Thursday, and then you got a, weekend kind of game, be it Saturday or Sunday. And I think that'd be good. And I like the sense of urgency because my favorite season, just in general, was that 99 lockout season when they played about, 50 or 55 games. And then you had the Knicks come up. And not that I was a Knicks fan or anything back then or now, but I did like that squad with Spreewell, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston. And I was disappointed that Ewing couldn't play in that final because, he was going through it back in the day in the 90s when they got matched up against the Bulls and things of that nature. And, Jordan was the man, so. And I like the way that scrappy team played in the Knicks and, the Heat back then as well. But yeah, that's one of my favorite seasons, and I think the Spurs wanted that season. And Tim Duncan was the man, and Tim Duncan was the man since the rookie season. Because that rookie season, his playoff run, his playoff performance was good. It was so good that Dave Robinson was like, "Yo, we behind you. You the man now. We just going by your lead." So yeah, that 99 season, I really enjoyed that, and I think the Knicks with that 8th seed that came up, Spurs eventually won it. And I think the game, just in general, just had an urgency, and people felt like you had to go hard every game. And I think you can bring that back with a 64-game kind of season. But also, the dynamic is, since it's going to be 60 minutes per game, your bench needs to be more active, or you need to make sure that your guys that start, your top-heavy guys, stars, have enough stamina to maybe play some extended minutes, if you will. I don't know, but I like that dynamic of making the games longer to 60 minutes, but also making the season shorter to bring that urgency to it. So that means, hey, you rush your top guys too many games, that could be detrimental to you. So that'll make sure that, you know what, these players may have to play a little more, I won't say injured, but maybe a little more sore or hurt, if you will, and deal with some things and adjust how they play the game a little bit to, you know, maybe even slow it down a little bit. Maybe you're going to play 60 minutes. Do you really need to have the pace so high? Maybe slow it down a little bit. Maybe you can go back to having more big men in the paint posting up, or even wing players posting up, and, you know, slow the game down and bring back more of that back-to-back basket play that's missing from a lot of teams. A lot of teams, you know, pretty much look the same. You know, somebody brings the ball up and somebody sets a screen from the foul line up to the three-point line, and people hunt for mismatches, or they just drive to the basket, shooting threes, you know, picking pops, you know, or the pick and rolls here and there. But it's, you know, it's kind of like a free-flowing kind of thing. It's really not no plays and offensive sets and, you know, feeding into the post for a lot of teams and working from there. And I think when the game is longer, 60 minutes, maybe you're going to have to slow it down a little bit, and it can bring back a little more of that post-play in my mind. And also incorporate more of the bench, and we can see, hey, who has the depth on these teams and who has a good bench, and having that be a little bit more of a factor, because guess what? They all NBA players, so, hey, okay, let's see what they got. And we can see, you know, how well are the GMs drafting, and guess what? Maybe we don't need to have these super teams with these 3 all-star, superstar kind of players. Like, you know what? Maybe we need just 2 at most, maybe get by with 1, and then we need a lot of guys that just run up and down the floor and, you know, keep you in that game with that, you know, 3 and D, or somebody can just slow it down and post up. So, yeah, I support shortening the season to 64 games, but at 60 minutes. And I think that'd be a good dynamic. I think the NBA would go for that because they're not losing out much on advertisement. It's essentially just 2 less games. But for the players, you're eliminating back-to-backs, because with 64 games, you don't have to play back-to-backs over a period of 6 months. And then for the fans, you get the urgency of 64 games. And I think that would be a good point to have, 64 games. So, yeah, comment. Let me know what you think about it, right or wrong. But 64 games, 60 minutes, that's how I feel about it. Iceberg Jim out. Deuces.